In the forgotten chambers of the north, where winter broods like a pale and sleepless tyrant, there lingers a whisper most dreadful. It creeps between the skeletal pines. It prowls across the frozen lakes. It hides itself within the starving howls of the midnight wind. Among the people, this whisper becomes a warning, and the warning becomes a legend, and the legend became a terror that survives even now. A horror they named the Wendigo. The elders spoke of it not as mere beast nor phantom, but as a dreadful embodiment of winter's most merciless sins, greed, famine, and the ravenous decay of the human soul. For when the world is swallowed in frost, and the heart burns low, and the bones beneath the skin begins to tremble for want of substance, there lies an abyss within every man. And from that abyss, so they said, the Wendigo is born. It is not simply seen, it is summoned. By the hungers unspoken, the desires ungoverned, in the darkness that awakens when survival claws at sanity. But what shape takes this fiend of the frost? The visage crawls from the graveyard of despair. Some claim it appears as a monstrous stag, crowned with antlers like crooked thorns. A previous mockery of the noble creature the tribe once revered. Others whispered that such a shape is but a modern fancy, a trick of the fearful minds and tales reborn in the age of shadows and electricity. But the elders, the true keepers of the tale, spoke of something far more ghastly. They described the figure lean as famine itself, its skin stretched tight upon its bones as though its flesh were but a shroud ready to tear. A shangrade with fingers long as winter's branches, and the nails sharp enough to rend the living sinew from bone. It walked like a corpse awakened too soon, eyes sunken, jaws cracked open in eternal yearning. And always, there came before the stretch of decay, as though death itself were its herald. Yet, in some tribes, a different terror took form. They believed the Wendigo was not gaunt, but colossal, a towering giant of living ice, growing grotesquely with every soul it consumed. The most it devoured, the greater its hunger became. Like a crusade flame that swells with every offering, a paradox of gluttony and starvation, forever feeding, forever famished. In such vision, the Wendigo is a mountain of endless appetite, a cathedral of frozen flesh and ancient sorrow. But the Wendigo is not merely a creature of the wilderness, no. Its truest horror lies in its origin, the belief that it was once human. A man overcame by greed, a woman swallowed by despair, a hunter standard in the heart of merciless winters, and when the cold gnaws deeper than morality, when hunger devours reason, the soul shatters, and something vile slips into the hollow left behind. Thus, a Wendigo is not born, but made, forged in the crucible of famine and sin, in dark times, when starvation hung like a pall over the land, families whispers the tale to warn their young. Forsaken greed, let the Wendigo find you worthy of transformation. There were those who claimed that the Wendigo first visits in the mind, that it coils itself around one's thoughts, is a serpent of frost. The afflicted spoke of a terrible burning beneath their skin, as though their very blood rebelled against them. This dread affliction was called Wendigo fever, a torment so fierce that some fled naked to the forest, seeking the cold to soothe their blazing veins. Night after night they were visited by phantoms, visions of silhouettes that beckoned from the shadows, promising relief through unholy composition. This is no mere haunting of superstition. This is Poe's curse, the mind turning upon itself, the heart whispering treason. The Wendigo, they say, is swift as the winter wind, strong beyond mortal comprehension, and cunning enough to stalk prey from miles with tireless patience. Some believe it commands beasts of the forest, bending wolves and ravens to its will. Others insist it can block out the sun, summoning a darkness so thick and suffocating that even the daylight recoils in its presence. In the oldest tales, the very trees bow away from it. They barked, withered, their roots recoiled in dread. For the Wendigo carries with not merely hunger, but corruption. Yet the legend does not live in folklore alone, for history holds grim accounts that echo of the Wendigo's shadow. Consider the tale of Swift Runner, a Cree man whose family vanished in the cruel winter of 1878. When the snow melted, authorities found bones cracked and burned. A sorrowful scene of unimaginable horror. Swift Runner confessed not as a murderer, but as a man possessed, claiming that the Wendigo whispered to him in his dreams. Reasons until salvation and madness remained. Then there is the tale of Jack Fiddler, who claimed to slay Wendigo in human form. Men and women, he believed, were overtaken by the spirit of endless hunger. He rid the world of more than a dozen such souls before meeting his own tragic fate. Was he mad, a protector, or a villain, or merely another victim of winter's insanity? These tales linger not because they are proven, because they feel possible. In the end, the Wendigo is not merely a creature of ice and bone. It's a mirror, held to the human condition. It reflects greed, the carnivorous void that expands the more it feeds. It reflects selfishness, the heart hardened against community and compassion. And it reflects fear of hunger, fear of isolation, fear of what we might become should desperation claim us. To the Algonquin, the Wendigo was a warning, carved from the marrow of their culture. A man who consumed his fellow beings consumes himself, and is doing so, becoming something no longer human. So, if ever you wander the northern woods, and the tree groans beneath the icy burden, if you feel a chill that is not born of winter, and hear a crackling of branches behind you, walk swiftly and speak no word, for the Wendigo listens. And to acknowledge its presence is to investigate its hunger. Remember the legend, remember the warning, and may your soul remain ever beyond the reach of the starving darkness.